Okay, yeah, no, I'm definitely making a video about this one because this is a topic that is very, very near and dear to my heart. And I may have made a video on this before, but yeah, heck it, this is another one. Nobody is a self-made man. Nobody made it on their own. Like, in the example that was given to me that prompted me to hit the record button, it was a person who's a trust fund baby who says that they're a self-made person. They got where they are on their own. No. Nobody ever gets to where they are on their own. So, my channel has 55,000 subscribers. And my Magic channel has 3,700 subscribers. And I have a video game channel as well, where I've got some, like, 2,000 subscribers, something like that. I didn't do that on my own. Not only did I have wonderful other creators who were the inspiration for me to better myself and my craft and get to the point where I am able to do presentations very, very easily and off the cuff. Not only have I had that influence in my life, which means that I didn't get to where I am on my own because other people gave me the motivation to get some level of skills in rhetoric, but also, and infinitely more importantly as well, there are literally 55,000 people I have to thank for getting my channel to where it is right now. I'm in the middle of a streaming marathon because I was unable to produce content on my own at the click that I needed to make survivable money, so I ended up in a bunch of credit debt because of that. And now I'm, doing a marathon so that I have a thing that is going on for a decent amount of time for people who want to support the channel, right? None of that exists without the help of viewers. None of that exists without the help of viewers. And it is that way in every trade. It is that way with every skill. It is that way in every walk of life. You are not a self-made person because your parents had to do some amount of work to get you to the point where you could start operating in the first place. You are not a self-made person because there are people around you who had to help you learn the skills that you needed to get to where you are in life. You are not a self-made person because not only did people help you learn those skills, if you learned those skills by reading a book, fully autodidactly, you would be nowhere if not for the people who wrote that book for you in the first place. Nobody is effectively a self-made person. Everybody needs some level of assistance in order to function, in order to live, in order to be successful. You are not a self-made businessman if you had to have somebody buy the pen you were selling in the first place. You're not a self-made creator if you needed to have somebody subscribe to your channel in the first place. If you're out in the wilderness and you are living off of the land, you're still not a self-made person because somebody raised you to the point where you were able to be self-sufficient in the first place. Those skills were imparted to you by someone. And we get lost, especially in America, we get lost in the narrative that there is such a thing as a self-made person. That person was not reliant on food that was prepared for them by a parent. Or even you go out to work and you use money that you earn to purchase a cheeseburger from a fast food place on your way to work because you're working very hard and you didn't have the money or you didn't have the time to prepare your own food very easily. Even if somehow, magically, every single point of your life, you've been able to be self-sufficient up until that point where somebody else had to cook you a burger so that you would be able to eat on the way to work. That one instance of somebody having to cook you something for you to be able to go to work and have food in your belly, even though you paid for it, you still relied on another person to get you there. you still relied on the skills of someone else. Conservatives all the time like to say things about unskilled labor, and then still need to buy food from a grocery store where billions of people engaged in so-called unskilled labor to make sure that they were able to put food on the table for their family because they didn't have the skills, land, or wherewithal to go do it all on their own. I guess they're not a self-made person. Because they physically can't be. Because nobody can be. I've never understood this idea that anybody is somehow an island. That we all live in some magical vacuum where the labor of others is not used to our benefit in some way, shape, or form. You're a self-made person until you end up in the hospital and you desperately need somebody to stitch up your wounds from a car accident. You're not a self-made person because now you owe your life to a doctor who is taking care of you. And oh, you paid into insurance and that paid for it. Then I guess you owe your life to the insurance company. Like, we can kick that can a billion ways, but eventually we're going to find somebody who at one point you were dependent on for survival or prosperity. You will always be able to trace that. If it weren't for friends of mine who were skilled in construction, my house would not be in the state that it's in right now. You know, semi-functional. Because it went from non-functional and breaking to better. Because there are people with construction skills who are friends of mine who were able to help out with that. My channel, people look at my channel and go, oh, look at what you accomplished. What I accomplished? No. This is an accomplishment that was done by tons of people. I would not have gotten to this stage in my channel at all if it weren't for a collaboration with Prophet of Zod. And that collaboration wouldn't have happened if not for a recommendation from Godless Cranium. And those situations wouldn't have happened if not for me getting a boost of motivation because my channel got discovered by Shannon Q. And that's just the stuff that got me to 300 subscribers. That's all that is. That's just the baseline stuff that got me to the point where I thought, oh, I might be able to do something with this. Then I got a shout out from Telltale Atheist, and that took me from 300 subscribers up to 700 subscribers. And if not for several collaborations with other people, my channel would not be in any type of reasonably good state. And with my inability to produce content the way that I've been wanting to lately, I've also been reliant on the generosity of others in more ways than one. Not only financial, where people are willing to go, hey, I'm supporting your stream by sending you money. I'm supporting your stream by going to Patreon. But also other creators, bigger and smaller than me, who are willing to raid my channel, giving me a small boost in numbers so that my channel is still able to stay afloat in some way, shape, or form. The other day, we got raided by Vosh. Today, we got raided by Adamus. Creator bigger than me and a creator smaller than me. And this would literally not ever be possible if it were not for the help of those other creators, and the people watching, and the people donating, and everybody at every stage, everybody that talks about the channel, everybody that recommends it to a friend, everybody that watches it with another person, which exposes them to content of mine, whether or not it's actually worth exposing other people to. I'm a terrible judge of that, apparently. So this myth, this weird myth of the self-made person, I don't understand how it's so pervasive. I understand people want to be proud of their individual accomplishments. And it's okay to be proud of things that you've been able to do. But I think it's naive to believe in the lie that somehow you did it all on your own. The amount of people that can claim did it all on my own for everything in their life is so alarmingly small to not be statistically significant. Somebody taught you a skill, somebody gave you a chance, somebody raised you from birth, somebody gave you a meal, somebody exchanged labor for a good, somebody did something that helped you at some point, so you were able to get to where you are. This is one of the reasons why when people say, like, oh, I don't owe anybody anything. No, you owe everybody everything to some degree. That's why I'm okay with concepts like debt to society. It's why I'm okay, Acne Murph, thank you for the follow. It's why I'm okay with things like taxation. It's why I'm okay with stuff like that. That stuff's really inconvenient for me as a content creator, I'll have you know. I'm not even gonna lie, like, shit blows as a content creator. Taxes are horrible when you're under 1099. People get tax returns back, and I have to put in for an extension on my taxes because I don't have the money to pay that shit right now. But it's just frustrating because there are people who are so thoroughly deluded that they've done things on their own, solely on their own. No, you haven't. Trump is really guilty of this. The whole reason we even have the meme of small loan of $1 million is because he said the whole self-contradictory statement of, I am a self-made person, I did it all on my own, all I needed was a small loan of $1 million from my dad. Like, we laugh at quotes like that not because they're legitimately funny. We laugh at quotes like that because they showcase such a huge flaw. Just a huge flaw in thinking, a huge flaw in rhetoric. And yet, there are people who wholehandedly will worship people like Trump as a self-made person. Or, again, be so deluded into thinking that they themselves are self-made. Elon Musk is another good example of this. So, Elon Musk, people view him as a visionary, as an inventor, as all kinds of things. But, it's weird because the dude hasn't actually invented anything that's become made. From what I understand, Elon Musk's list of, like, self-patented inventions begins and ends functionally with, what? An aesthetic design for a Tesla? Not even any of the mechanics? Not any of that? None of the work that was involved in building one. Just the idea of an aesthetic design. That's his invention. When people say Musk invents rockets, Musk is doing more than NASA, Musk is doing this, Musk is doing that. No, Musk isn't doing shit. Musk himself is not responsible for any of the things that the labor of his workers create. The only things he's responsible for largely are oversight. Robbie says Muskrat bought founder status in Tesla. Yep. But don't worry, self-made man from Emerald Mines. Oh, well, that means he must have done something right. Anybody can do something right when their starting place is several $1,000,000. Anybody can do anything when their starting point is shitting gold. But all that stuff gets conveniently forgotten when people are Trump sycophants and people are Musk sycophants. Oh, they're the future. Oh, they're amazing. Like, no. These are people who have accomplished a microcosm of things on their own and owe basically everything else in their life to the labor of others. I owe everything in my life to the labor of my community. My stream lives or dies based on audience participation. My earnings live or die based on audience participation. But there's somebody who's going to look at me and think that I've done it all on my own. It's never the case. It's a Stream Rat by Penelope Scott. Great song about Musk's failings. Neat. But I don't know. That's a rant, basically. Functionally. I just don't think that people are as self-made as they think they are. And yet, somehow, we live in this weird fantasy world where people can be deluded into it. We get libertarians that think that Atlas Shrugged was a documentary. And it's just, it's confusing. Confusing on one hand, infuriating in another. Confusing for purpose of not making any sense to anybody who's sane and has a working, you know, cerebrum. Because every single thinking person can trace... Oh... I have to do it this way. Every single thinking person can trace their accomplishments back to the involvement of someone else. I remember this being... Oh. Wow. Wow, okay. K. Charles says, everybody stands on the shoulders of their predecessors. Sometimes they've become a giant, sometimes they've dug a hole. But either way, you've got to deal with what they did before you. Yep! And if somebody goes like, hey, my parents didn't give me anything. Okay. Then you should be dead. There is no way that at the ripe old age of 0, you survived without some form of intervention. Otherwise, you are a genetic anomaly. The 0-year-old who successfully killed every single bear in the forest for sustenance. At the age of 0, I learned how to perform photosynthesis. Stoff says, like my accomplishments, all of my porn wouldn't exist without Suris. I don't think that's the same thing, Stoff, but, you know... Sure. I don't know if I'd consider your porn an accomplishment in the same way you consider it an accomplishment. I guess I'd consider it more of a stain, but... If I consider your porn a stain, then that implies that something had to happen to create that stain? And I guess that would mean your porn has accomplished something. And that's not what I'm trying to get at. Not this time, anyway. Porn leaves a mark on humankind. It also leaves a mark on the sofa. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Said, hey, porn is an accomplishment. You know how annoying anatomy is? Yes, I do. I took an art class when I was in high school, and I understand. And Stoff's art generates a lot of stains. You know, sometimes I wonder if it's the weird stuff that Stoff makes that generates more stains, or the normal stuff. I don't know. But anywho, that's my rant, and there's my case. If you think you're a self-made person, and therefore you don't owe anybody, and so you worship people like Trump or Musk, or otherwise are some kind of libertarian who believes in this myth that they exist on an island where nobody has ever tread before, no. Do better. Be better. You can trace every single thing in your life back to another person. I am 100% certain of it. You've driven on roads paid for by tax dollars. You've been educated by a system either funded or built by tax dollars. You've existed and subsisted based on food that has been prepared for you either by another person or has been subsidized by, again, tax dollars. But yet, for some reason, you still would like to consider yourself wholeheartedly self-made. Nobody has done anything for you. You owe nobody anything at all. Somehow, despite the wealth of information available to you to show that that is just not the case. Said, hell, Musk's SpaceX runs off government grants? Yep. Everything can be traced back to the labor of others. Always and 100% of the time. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and as always, everyone, insert end video tagline here. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.